Everybody's ready,
Hands
and
up.
I am not, sorry.
Don't begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone, and welcome to the July 1st meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
There's an item to be added.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the reminder. That's why you're here. We need to add an item from the Sheriff's Office, and we'll add that as item H1. I'll make that a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0, and it's a position description. Okay.
Okay, unfinished business, number 1, consider approval to solicit bids for 947 feet of sidewalk at Shunga Glen Park at an estimated cost of $33,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This item was before the Commission about a week ago, and it was tabled until today. My recollection is the Commission desired to have several more options. We've gone back with staff and we've looked at 3 different options. One option being just replacing the one piece of concrete or the several pieces of concrete that are damaged and out of compliance. We looked at that, what the cost would be to that, and we also looked at what the cost would be to kind of alter the original plan we put before you, and then the original plan that we put before you, which would basically set up a scenario where we wouldn't have to go back every few years as tree roots continue to damage other pieces of the sidewalk. What you have in front of you are 3 estimates. Attached to my cover memo is more of a detailed analysis of those 3 options. Terry Bertles is here to talk about any of the detailed questions you might have. We have solidified some numbers. The original 33,000 has actually been reduced to close to 20, maybe even under 20,000. With that, we're looking for direction from the Commissioners and a request to solicit bids for either 1, 2, or all 3 of the options. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Let's walk through the options. Terry or John, either one.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
I said, let's just walk through the options.
Option 1 essentially was replace only the sections of sidewalk that were identified by the city of Topeka.
And the estimated cost.
The estimated cost was around $5,000. Option 2 was to, I think as John put it in his memo, do a hybrid of 1 and 3, which was to replace the sections identified by the city of Topeka, replace some sections that were identified by us that we saw as areas of concern, and would do a slight realignment of the sidewalk on the north end to get around some trees that would either need to be removed or roots severely cut. That option, I believe, was somewhere around $7,000. And then the third option was to move the sidewalk completely inside the trees, away from the street. We got another estimate on that, and it was somewhere around $17,000 to $20,000.
Okay.
I think the major differences, 1 doesn't address any of the other issues that exist currently that we feel are deficient. 2 doesn't address some issues, and it's a short-term fix and anticipates additional need to come back. And 3 takes all of those issues off the table so that we don't have to worry about that sidewalk for an extended period of time.
Thank you. Questions? Yes, Commissioner.
Question I have, Terry, when is the city of Topeka going to address that section of Washburn as far as streets, curbs, and gutter replacements under the half-cent sales tax program?
I don't know what year they would have that as identified. I haven't heard it as being one that's at the top of the...
But when the city does address those issues, they typically replace the sidewalk.
That's correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize up to $7,000 to cure this problem.
It's a motion by Commissioner Archer, Is there a second?
If we could have clarification.
Sure.
With an authorization of up to $7,000, is it at the discretion of the Parks and Recreation Department as to what they do or how they do it?
It is the hybrid that John Knight mentioned in the proposal, and last week I walked it again with John and Terry, and they indicated what the city had done, which I had already seen, but they identified other sections that probably ought to be addressed also, and I agree with that, and that's why I make the motion to spend up to $7,000 without knowing when the city's going to come in to fix that section of Washburn, and they would replace the sidewalks. And I don't know that we ought to spend up to $20,000 for that at this point.
But this would be a motion to adopt the hybrid proposal.
That is correct.
Okay. I would second that proposal.
I would just, Commissioners, all we're asking for is permission to solicit bids at this time. We come back to you with, to approve the bids. So we can, if I'm hearing you right, you'd like us just to take bids for just option number 2, or B.
That's what it sounds like. John, in the meantime, though, also, I think some correspondence with the city, again, on improvements on that stretch of road, when that may take place. I think to have that information as well before any other decisions are made on expenditures. You know, just to check and
Okay.
see. I think that might be helpful. Okay?
Okay?
All right. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 3, consent agenda.
Are there questions or a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent agenda as prepared.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook and second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Good morning, Madam Chair. This morning we have one set of vouchers dated June 28th, 2013, in the total amount of $710,029.65. I have no questions concerning the vouchers, and I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cook. Questions? All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, there are no correction orders. Item B, Kansas Expo Center. Number 1, consider approval of request for capital expenditures for A, purchase of 3 new door hardware and locks at a cost of $1,276.66. B, replacement of an expansion bladder on chill water loop serving Landon Arena in an amount of $5,333. C, rebuild of compressor number 2 on the Landon Arena ice plant at a cost not to exceed $19,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. H.R. Cook, General Manager, Kansas Expo Center. Happy to take any questions you have regarding these 3 items. Item number 3, the compressor, number 2 compressor on our ice plant. We do have 3 compressors. We originally had budgeted to rebuild all 3 every few years. They do wear out, and they will have a tendency sometimes to go down, and if you're in the middle of ice season, we can't have them going down. But due to some budget constraints, we are going to just rebuild one, and then we'll do the subsequent one next year, and the one after that. All 3 items were unanimously approved by the advisory board last Wednesday.
What does that bring your balance to?
Brings us down to $14,128.
And we have your budget meeting today.
Budget meeting today at 2 o'clock, and we'll address our capital needs for the rest of the year at the meeting.
Okay. Further questions on the request? Commissioner Archer?
But HR, I think it's important to discuss before we get to this afternoon, or nobody's paying attention in the media, that we have a plan to address capital needs to the end of the year.
Yes.
Would you discuss that briefly?
Yes, Commissioner Archer, due to a couple of very successful shows last year at the Expo Center, we do have a cash carryover from 2012 that of about $175,000 that we are going to apply towards our capital expenditures, which means it's not a cost to the taxpayers, it's not a cost to the general fund. We have been advised probably to replace our stage, our permanent stage. We're going to try to do that for about $100,000, which would leave us $75,000 in our capital. We think we might be able to make it through the end of the year with the $75,000, barring anything major coming up, which we don't know. So,
Okay,
And-
thank you.
And I thought that was important
Yeah.
that be stated. Given that, I'll make a motion to approve the request as stated.
Second.
There is a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Item C, Health Agency. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 324-2013 with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, Division of Healthcare Finance to provide outreach, prevention, and early intervention services to at-risk families with grant funding of $350,000 requiring a dollar-for-dollar match from the Early Childhood Block Grant.
Good morning, Commissioners. Diane Creek, Shawnee County Health Agency. This grant funds the Nurse Family Partnership Program that the Commission approved in March. So I'd entertain any questions you have.
Other questions?
I don't, motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks for being here this morning.
Item D, appraiser. Number 1, consider approval of request to create a new position, GIS cadastral technician, at a salary of $15.02 per hour, and abolish the vacant cadastral mapping specialist position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mark Hickson, Shawnee County Appraiser. I sent you a memo regarding this request, and I suppose I would just start off by asking if you have any questions or concerns.
I don't have any questions, but Mark, kind of walk us through this, is what got us to this point.
Okay, we have currently vacant position. The position title is cadastral mapping specialist. It was a position we created because the employee who occupied that position was a clerical employee, and as her abilities and skills and her education evolved, we reclassified that to a new title instead of her, the clerical title, and left that within the bargaining unit. That was kind of a stretch at the time, but we did it that way. So now, after a year of trying, well, almost a year of trying to fill that position, we have not been able to do that. We've found that the salary is inadequate for the market, and so in concert with my GIS director and Human Resources Department, we've come up with a better job description and salary level that we feel is more competitive, and we might be able to actually attract someone to that position. But due to the fact that there's a lack of commonality of interest between this new position, it's more of a technical position than it is clerical. It was my feeling that this position would not be part of the bargaining unit. Any other?
Got it? Okay.
Did I cover everything?
I think so. As a member of the Teamsters Union, is Mr. Schreiber? Yeah. Just wanted to give you an opportunity to
Morning,
offer your
Commissioners.
comments.
Mike Scribner with Teamsters. One thing Mr. Hickson left out, a grievance was filed, and I've got copies of that grievance if y'all would like, concerning this position. About a year ago, whenever we found out that the employee was doing contract work from Florida, Mr. Hickson met and conferred with me and discussed his intentions. He failed to inform me about this grievance. I learned later through investigation that, he's been doing this stuff with this position for a while. I asked him if the new position would evaluate anybody. He said no. I asked him if the new position would, if he'd be able to hire or fire anybody. He said no. I told him I saw no reason that the new position shouldn't be in the bargaining unit. It's been in the clerical bargaining unit for years, and it was a clerical bargaining unit employee that worked in this position and did a good job, I believe. We asked that it remain in the bargaining unit. I don't understand. If you're asking for more education and you're going to pay them better, what's wrong with them being in the bargaining unit? The employee has the choice to be a member or not. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think Mr. Scribner was suggesting that I was withholding or being intentionally misleading, but that grievance has no relevance to this issue. We were, the union and I were totally in agreement on that grievance. The focus of that was that this should not be a contracted position. It should be a full-time employee. And I didn't really have a reason to argue with him about that. I agreed. And so did the county commission. That's why, we just decided it wouldn't make any sense to pursue this grievance if there was going to be no money in the budget to fund the salary for this full-time position. And for the 2013 budget, there is. So, that's why we proceeded to try to hire somebody for that position. And so far, we've given it a really diligent effort, and it's still not capable of hiring anybody just because of the salary. So the two issues are not, they're very thinly related.
Thanks, Mark. Questions?
Mr. Hickson, is there a way to keep this position within the bargaining unit at a higher rate of pay?
I don't know why we couldn't. I would point out that as part of the contract, we have a definition called class, in which that's defined as a group of similar positions having common duties and responsibilities to justify their being given the same title to require that they meet the same qualifications. Our clerical staff and that class of employees have very little relationship to the position that I'm proposing here today. So I don't see how it's almost like one of these things just isn't like the others and doesn't belong. And so the commonality of interest between clerical staff and the more technical employees just wouldn't exist.
Because if I hear you correctly, the reason why you're having trouble filling the spot is primarily due to the salary that you're able to offer at the current level.
Correct.
And in order for you to offer a higher salary, to attract the employee, you need to offer the higher salary.
Right.
And the issue with the Teamsters is, once you pull this out, this is no longer a person within the bargaining unit. Is there a way to resolve the two to marry them and so that they can be, we have you to offer the higher salary, it's still within the bargaining unit.
Well, I think you've crystallized the issue and the priorities in order. Number one, we need to pay more money, create the new position. That's the most high priority. The second part as to whether or not this person fits within the union is, in my opinion, just kind of a minor issue in comparison to that. I just feel like, this employee would not have much in common with the other employees within the union, and, it just didn't seem like it belonged there.
Jonathan, anything you want to add?
There's just a couple of things. Keyboard's kind of in the way. We did post this position. We received a sum total of 6 applicants. And it was open for quite a while. Only one of them met the minimum qualifications for the job. That was even after Mr. Hickson requested the minimum qualifications lowered. So the market is not out there for this type of position, at least not the salary we can offer. I guess if you wanted the way to do it, if there's a commonality of interest, we'd have to amend the bargaining unit. That's the only way to do it. If there's the commonality of interest there to do it, and the will of commission to do it as well.
Madam Chair,
Mhm.
would we need to amend the bargaining unit, or would you need to reclassify this position so it would fit within the bargaining unit?
This position, if you want, if there, it can be put in the unit if we needed it there. But in order to do that, we will have to amend the unit because this salary range is not inside this unit at all. So it would not only have to be voted on and ratified by the union, it also have to be agreed by you guys as well, the commission to do that.
I'm going to move to defer. I need a little bit more information. Let's see here, July 1st, July 8th. I'm going to move to defer until July 8th. And in the meantime, Sean,
Can we do the 11th instead?
we can. There's a motion to defer until July 11th. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. I'm just going to ask that, that option be pursued and just that be presented to us. I know that's more complicated than, it sounds simple, but it's more complicated, correct?
Yes.
I just want to have a follow-up conversation with you as well. Okay. Questions?
I'm not going to support the deferral. I think I've got all the information I need, and I would support the approval of this. I would like to note that it's July 1st, and this is Mr. Hickson's first day of his new term of service with Shawnee County, and I wanted to point out that you've done an excellent job for us, and thank you, and keep up the good work, Mark.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the confidence.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
No.
Motion carries 2-1. Commissioner Archer dissenting.
Is it too late to bifurcate this, create the position and worry about the union, non-union decision? I mean, we need the position. Whether it's in the union or not, we still need the position. That, I think, I don't know, I'm assuming we all agree on that.
Yeah, I believe we need the position. I think you've done your due diligence to, try it with a contract employee, and the number of employees you've reduced in your department is substantial. I mean, you've done an excellent job in that respect. So, yeah, I agree the position is needed, just where it falls, I'm not quite sure. So, July 11th, that won't delay you all that long, will it?
Well, 6 months, a year, it's all right. If it was that urgent, the wheels would have already
Okay,
fallen
some
off,
more.
so.
What does that mean, Mark?
Oh, another week.
All right. Next item, please.
Item E, corrections. Number 1, consider approval of request to solicit bids for 2 replacement HVAC rooftop units at an estimated cost not to exceed $250,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. Before you is a request to seek approval to solicit bids to replace 2 rooftop units of the HVAC system at the Juvenile Department, Juvenile Detention Center. This was part of our 2013 capital plan. These are 2 units that have outlived their life expectancy. They were a part of the original building in 1998. One of them, in fact, was too small, but we continued to work with what we had. We have had multiple work orders and maintenance to these, and we do believe that it is time to look at replacement. I did speak with Betty Greiner over the phone regarding these expenses, but again, this is just to solicit bids. The initial request or in our strategic plan was $200,000. That was a year ago. We do believe the cost may have gone up a little bit in talking to one vendor, giving an idea of who put those in originally. Again, I did talk to Betty a little bit about maybe the expected increase, but we would be, if approved, we'd be able to meet these expectations, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Brian. Further questions? Commissioner Archer?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate that you've talked to the Finance Administrator
Yes, sir.
about this, Brian. I commend you for doing that. Recently, we had a unit that failed that was just outside the warranty period. So I would ask you, in looking into this, to look at what a warranty extender would cost.
Absolutely.
And as part of our discussions for that. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the request.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Item F, audit finance. Number 1, consider approval of request to use Purple Wave auction to sell large surplus equipment and to continue to use public surplus to sell furniture and small items.
Betty Greiner, Financial Administrator. I was approached to ask if we could look into using Purple Wave for selling our surplus, mainly of large equipment type items. It was thought that we could probably get a better price for them, that it's a larger pool of bidders on their online auction. This request is only to approve the contract that we would have with them. It has gone through the counselor's office, and they have reviewed it and approved it for that purpose. The resolution that covers selling surplus items requires that before we would sell any, a specific list would come to the commission for approval of, putting those items out for auction. So this is only a request to approve this contract with Purple Wave, so that, down the road, when we look at selling these items, I believe that Parks and Rec has some items they would like to look at putting up for auction to sell, and that they felt like this would be somewhere we could get a better price. We've currently been using public surplus. We could still use those. It's not, it's not an exclusive contract or anything like that. It would just give us another option. So, any questions?
Commissioner Archer, you have one?
Is Purple Wave auction associated with Kansas State University in any way?
That I don't know. Michelle from my department is the one that has spoken with them on the phone, so she came in case you had any questions. I'm sorry, I do not know that.
I would say probably not.
Okay, thank you.
They are located in Manhattan.
Yeah.
But they are, yeah. Purple Wave,
I don't think they are, but I know that the number of years ago, the state, when they stopped using their state surplus that was located at Forbes Field, they began using Purple Wave to liquidate vehicles, equipment as it aged out. I know that I've had the opportunity to purchase items through Purple Wave. They're reputable. They do stand by, and they're it's a good company to use. So
Sounds like a motion.
I would move to approve to use Purple Wave for the selling of large items.
Second.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. I do have a question though, so this is not exclusive, so if we had
No.
someone else that approached us,
Right.
Yes.
another auction company that approached us, do you have something to add on that?
I just wanted to add, Lance Roy from the Sheriff's Office, communications equipment that we'll be having in about a year and a half would be an excellent thing to put on Purple Wave as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
I know the state used it when they decommissioned their analog system, and we even bought some stuff off of it, so that's an excellent place for about a year and a half when we decommissioned our analog radio system. So just wanted to add that.
Okay, great, all right. But again, this isn't exclusive, so if we had someone
That's
else.
correct.
would
Right, it's
come.
That is correct.
exclusive.
Okay.
Right.
All right. All those in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Item G, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of a request to award bid for the purchase of 9,000 gallons of road oil at a cost of $31,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. Before I start, I wanted to make a couple corrections on my memo. The road oil is a MC30 type road oil and not CRS-1H as mentioned. The MC30 road oil is called a penetrating road oil, and that is what we use when you're converting a gravel road to a chip seal road. And we have a small section that we're going to improve, an intersection that's currently gravel, and then also another half-mile section of roadway that we're going to be converting from gravel to chip seal. Then also, I should have had in my memo, the funding for this will be split between ourselves and Monmouth Township. We are going to be converting a gravel road from Monmouth Township, a mile of their roadway. So the funding will actually be split between ourselves and them. But we just received the one bid. Typically, when we go out for bids for road oil, we only have 2 local suppliers. One of the suppliers did not bid for some reason, and the low bid was submitted, or the only bid was submitted by Vance Brothers, who is also going to be supplying our other road oil for our chip sealing this season. They're a very reputable firm, and we recommend approval of the Vance Brothers. So if there's any questions regarding this, I'd be happy to try to answer.
Other questions or motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request to award the bid as presented.
This motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, item H, Sheriff's Office, acknowledge the hiring of communications technician.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lance Royer with the Sheriff's Office. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. It was an oversight on our part that we missed needing to put it on the agenda. Apologize for that.
For those who may be listening or watching, can you explain it just a
Sure.
little bit since it wasn't in the packet?
We've been looking several months to hire a communications technician, which is our third person in our radio shop. Obviously, we purchased a large $12 million radio system that we're installing, and we're getting to the point where we're going to begin programming radios very soon, and we need some help in the radio shop. We did interview several candidates, and one of the candidates' most qualified piece was he programmed paint guns. We didn't think that was good enough for our radio system, so we've gone after one of our candidates who currently works for KDOT, so don't tell KDOT we're going to steal one of their employees, but that's what we're hoping to do.
I think you just told them.
I did. They know.
And you've consulted with the Human Resources
Yes, I have.
Department as well. Great, thank you.
He is a former county employee. He worked for us before, and then he went to KDOT, so they stole him from us, so we're stealing him back. Yeah.
I'll move approval of the request. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. Questions? All in favor of the motion say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Just wanted to inform you again that we have our Spirit of Kansas celebration on Thursday. I have a lot of events scheduled throughout the day, which include a golf tournament, bike and car show, craft festival, as well as a blues festival. water ski show, and then the best fireworks in Northeast Kansas take off about 10 o'clock in the evening. We do have free bus transportation from the Topeka Metro starting at 6 o'clock at White Lakes. And I do want to give a shout out to Capital Federal again for stepping up and being our title sponsor, along with WIBW and Country Legends. And we personally invite you all to come out to enjoy that. Also, the next night, we have a very special evening planned on July 5th, the U.S. Military All-Star Red, White, and Blue Patriotic Tour will be featuring the only joint armed forces and first responders that will be playing our Topeka Golden Giant at Bettis Complex. This team and event was established by President George H.W. Bush in 1990 and have earned the reputation of the Globetrotters of baseball, performing in 45 states and 12 different countries. So Topeka should be very pleased that we have them coming. Personally invite you all to come out for the opening ceremonies starting about 6:30. I will have more details to send you a little later in the week.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dave Sturban, Shawnee Boat and Ski Club. At Lake Shawnee this weekend, they mentioned the water ski show. We got lucky this year. The Rough Water Warriors, who practice out of Pomona Lake, are coming up to join Shawnee Boat and Ski Club for the water ski show that starts at 6:30 on the 4th. One of the things I got to see their practice yesterday morning is they pull a tandem pyramid, which means one pyramid takes off the dock, and as soon as they get going, that pyramid actually pulls up a second pyramid. So if you've never seen anything like it, it was very unique. They've got a lot of really good acts. Should take a little over an hour. There's about 15 water acts of different things that will be out there. And reminding everybody that the Kansas State Water Ski Championships are again at Lake Shawnee this year, July 20th and 21st. And that's really exciting with the slalom course, the tricks course, and of course everybody always likes the jumping event to see how far they go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Tom Block, Public Works and Solid Waste again. This is regarding our solid waste schedule. Just another reminder to our customers that customers for today have no change. Customers on Tuesday have no change. However, our regular Wednesday customers will be picked up on Tuesday, tomorrow, and our regular Thursday customers will be picked up on Wednesday, and then there will be no change for those on Friday. And I also just want to say a thank you to the Topeka Capital Journal. They placed something in the paper yesterday with the schedule. That was very helpful. I really do appreciate it. So if it wasn't Mr. Redger's doing, I would appreciate it if you would express to whomever made that decision to put it in there. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Administrative communications. As a reminder, we are not in session on July 4th, so have a safe holiday. I know we have executive session left, but just to note that we will be placing on the bottom of our agenda the budget hearings that are going to take place over the course of this month. Today we have Vallejo at 10:30, our planning department at 1 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock the Kansas Expo Center. So, next item, please.
Executive sessions.
I believe we do have a need for executive session for purposes of legal, for a period not to exceed 10 minutes. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. That's true. We're back in session, no action taken. We are adjourned. Good. Happy 4th of July. Nothing? I think I already signed that one.
Nothing for us? See you in a half hour.
All righty.